Welcome to World's Finest, the weekly DC Comics review. We got a full house today. Got me, Phil. Got Tyler. Got Lilith. All right, what are we going to talk about first?
I'm going to jump in here because I want to talk about good old Action Comics because I don't get to talk about it yet.
The truth.
So here's what I'm thinking. At first, not a huge fan of what I like to refer to as Punisher Superman. So I'm not really too much liking the whole depowered thing, but at the same time, the writing and action is so good that it's not bothering me. You know, like at first I was very apprehensive, but this issue of action where it's Clark running to save the neighborhood that was having a party in his honor that's being attacked by the police, and it's really an issue about police brutality, and it's him standing up against them, and then him calling out all the officers who he's helped and saved before, and basically it's asking them to back down, and then the fact that he's holding this anchor chain to protect the people. And I was like, this is really good writing. Like, I'm just, you know, the whole depowered thing is bothering me, but the writing for this is so good. I wish they'd kind of set up some parameters of what his power set is. They just keep saying he's weaker, and he doesn't have his full strength, or he can't fly, and his vulnerability, but they haven't really stated what exactly his limits are.
In my head, don't ask me why, I've just been imagining that his strength levels around the spider. Don't ask me why, but
see, I can see that. So, Spider-Man, Superman.
Yeah. I said I read this blog. I think it hit the nail on the head for me why I'm having such a problem with it. It's like, there's 4 books he's in, and in every book he's written differently. Like in Action, they said he's like a folk hero. I can see that, but meanwhile, you read like Batman, Superman, he's like beating on guys and enjoying like the violence he can bring now and let loose because he doesn't have all that strength.
Yeah, and that's like, listen, like I don't really like the depowered story it's carrying through all the books, but in Action, I really like the way it's going. You know, over in Superman, we're building to the event where he gets outed and completely loses his power or whatever.
Yeah, and then in the team-up books,
I read Superman and Wonder Woman, and it was the Superman and Wonder Woman wasn't bad. I haven't read the Batman Superman, so they're just still trying to get around, you know, Gordon, like, you know, Batman. So, but this issue of Action, I give it a 4.5.
Oh
man, I don't know. I really like the way it's being written right now. I hope the depowered story doesn't keep going, but I really like the way it's being written right now.
All right, so you give it a 4.5. Now for the other end of the spectrum, Lilith.
Hey, I think that for me, I was reading this, like the out of sequence storytelling hasn't really bothered me now that I learned that it's kind of this planned thing, even though I think it's kind of a clusterfuck of an idea. It didn't really bother me because I wasn't that invested in this particular Superman right now. So it's just like, it wasn't until this issue that I kind of felt like a piece of the puzzle was actually missing and it wasn't an intentional thing. It just has to do with, you know, the police and all the, like, drastic lengths that they go down to save Superman. Like, and then there's this real world connection of police brutality that's just like every time you turn on the TV, it's somebody protesting in the streets about it. So that kind of made me a little uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, those two things, I agree with Tyler, though. It is well written, but not particularly Superman. It's more like his supporting cast. I feel like this is the most fleshed out the supporting cast has been in, like, almost a decade. I do think that, you know, I prefer Grant Morrison because he gets it, the kind of Superman that I like. And I think on the other end, because, you know, he writes him very godlike and whatnot. And I think on the other end, Pack can be kind of compared to that if you know, for underpowered Superman. So I think I will give him credit for that. I love the art. Aaron Kruger did a great job this issue. The action, it was actually a lot of action in Action Comics for, like, the first time in a while. I like that. But all that goes to say is that it was still kind of not what I want, and I'd say it's a good. I'll be nice and say a 3. It's just too many things working against me.
I guess it's just down to me. What did I grade this week's chapter of The Truth? Give it probably a 3.5.
But I wish this Superman was just in Action and it wasn't the Superman that was carrying over in other titles. Because like you said about the way he's being written in different titles.
Yeah.
I like the way he's being written in Action. I find it an interesting storyline. It's not what I want from my Superman. Like what Lil said about Grant Morrison. Like if I could pick my writer for Superman, I mean, my favorite right now has been I really love the way he was written in Superman Unchained by Scott Snyder, and I like the way he's being written by Straczynski in Earth One. Like, I really like those. But each person seems to be creating their own voice for Superman, even though he's supposed to be the same character in the same events in each book. So I'm kind of looking at action very tunnel vision and not comparing it to what else they're doing with the character. So I don't know. We'll see. We have a lot of different versions kind of coming out right now.
Yeah.
Like, we got a different feel of Superman, and then we have LA and Justice League. So I don't know. We'll see where Superman goes.
All right. I'm going to jump to something else. Lilith, did I say you read everything this week?
I did, but that doesn't mean I want to talk about everything.
Oh, okay.
We can skip over Batmite, and Bizarro. Definitely the worst picks. Although I did see some people say they actually liked Bizarro this week. I'm just not feeling that title at all. It's too kooky for me.
Well, I didn't get either one, so yeah, don't worry about that. I didn't even touch either one of those. So, did you read Green Lantern 42?
Unfortunately. I'm trying to give Green Lantern like its thing, and it had potential. We can talk about that one.
Okay. What potential do you see in it?
I think what has recently been turning me off about Green Lantern, despite, Jeff Johns' amazing run, I felt like it was too much mythology, too many characters. There was like too much to keep track of. So I was just like, ugh, I cannot stand it. And then every time, like I said last week, with like if there's another Green Lantern title, it would like just always gets pulled in back to whatever the main title is doing. And now that I see they're kind of doing this bare bones approach, I can almost kind of get back into it. But let's be real. The lead character, I'm never going to be a fan of.
No.
I can't. It's trying to be like Guardians of the Galaxy or Firefly, and I'm just not here for it.
Yeah. And tell the writers, like, coat and long hair look went out with the 90s.
I thought...
Should I ask what you graded this one?
This one is a 3, and that's being really generous. Like, I want to see a bare bones approach to Green Lantern. It's kind of why I like The Lost Army, because it's kind of separate from the main title. It's going to stay that way, they've said. So, but I want to give this a chance. But, man, Hal is just a douchebag. I just can't get behind him. If they could just tone him down a little bit, I might be able to actually read the actual Green Lantern title from 2 issues at a time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm jumping between the 3 and the 3.5 here. I'll go 3.5, I guess. I don't have that many more books. Is there something else you wanted to talk about?
I know you probably didn't read Omega Man, so I'll kind of... Did you? Or did you?
No, I did not.
Well, yeah. I like this issue. I gave this one a 3.5. It did really well with filling out where they started with the killing the White Lantern, Kyle Rayner, of course. And I don't know. This is actually a really good team book. Don't get me wrong, I like Justice League, the reboot of the reboot of the reboot or whatever. That's at issue 2 right now. But I don't know. It's just something this has a very old throwback feel, and I'm just really digging it. The art's great. I don't know. It's just something really, like, I just love old school comics because, I don't know, like, everything feels the same in this new DC universe where everything has to be gritty and tough and like it doesn't fit with the characters per se. Like with Superman and having a police brutality, all that stuff. It's just like this just feels like more like they're doing their own thing and they don't really care about like the trends and stuff. So this is definitely a title I'm still really feeling and can get behind. I gave it a 4. A lot of that had to do with the art that was drawn by Barnaby Bajenda. Just really great, dark shading. It was really good. If you like that old school X-Men feel, I'm telling you, like if you're missing that because of Secret Wars and all the plans they have from Marvel, this might be the title for you.
Oh, you know what I didn't get this week? I forgot. It wasn't on my pull list, and I forgot to pick it up at the store. Did you read Midnighter?
I did. And I only read Midnighter because it had really great reviews.
I'm probably going to pick it up, but...
I can see where they're coming from. You'd like it, I think. Definitely. I don't want to ruin it for you because it was really good if you like this character, but I was just a little bored.
That's
all.
Did you like it better than the first one, or is it more of the same?
It was more action, and I don't know. I just feel like maybe we want to flesh him out before we just keep being a punch him up kind of title. Like I'm very much into character development.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Because isn't the point of Midnighter though is like a hero without a past or secret identity or whatever. Isn't that kind of
I
like the
think,
point?
like, I didn't read much Midnighter before, but yeah, I believe that's the point of it.
And so I think that's probably what rubs me kind of the wrong way, because it's like you kind of, especially if they're setting it in the modern day, like you just can't do that. There's just too many people that are going to take advantage of it. But I think the best thing about this particular issue was the art by Alec Morgan. I really liked it. It had a Asian flair to it that I kind of appreciate. So. Brian Hitch also kind of did some layouts for it, I think I remember reading. But the story, sorry, Steve Orlando, I don't know. It just didn't come together. But tons of people really liked it. If Midnighter's your kind of guy, I mean, it's like I said, if you like action and just kind of empty action, this is a really good title for people that like it.
What's the grade?
This is a 3.25.
I know you read Green Arrow.
I did. I mean, we've kind of already talked about this, about the flip-flop nature of like, hey, when new writers come in, instead of just, they're like, okay, we want to get rid of that completely. So let's see, what can we do? It's getting to be brutal. I'm getting whiplash here.
Oh, I know. Let's give him a green motorcycle, a green Bronco.
I don't know. How did you feel about the kind of the horror vibe from last month's issue? Like, if you like that, then you probably won't like this. Do you know?
Yeah. I was willing to give them a shot with the horror stuff. I don't know. I like my Green Arrow set like more in the real world. You know, superpowers okay, but once you start getting into the mystical stuff or the supernatural, I'm just like, I don't know.
I don't know. Green Arrow did it when, like, when he was on the island and doing all that stuff, that and like the totems and stuff, that was cool. But when you get to that other side of the spectrum of that particular set, it's just like it doesn't really work for Green Arrow, in my personal opinion. I think that this Big Brother paranoia though is more in tune with Green Arrow, but I'm not feeling them trying to recreate hard traveling heroes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just certain things you shouldn't touch upon because it's a classic and you're just gonna mess it up. Like, no offense to anybody, but I love. That's when I really fell in love with Green Arrow. That's when I was willing to give Green Lantern a shot, and it has a special place in my heart. And I don't think anybody could ever really top it because they're not allowed to be as edgy as they were nowadays. So
I'll give this one a 4. I don't know. I just enjoyed it.
I give this one a 3.75.
See, we weren't that far off. So you read Detective Comics?
I mean, it's. I'm gonna tell you, it's within a hair's inch of getting off my pull list for the first time in like maybe 4 years. I'm definitely not digging it at all.
Why? What's your hang up on this?
Every issue is more of a disappointment than the last. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say that. I don't like it.
Most of it seemed like fill-in, like last issue. This issue just feels like it's like a placeholder almost. Oh, we have to have new Batman. Yeah. Okay, let's.
I do like the relationship between Gordon and Bullock, though.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the best thing about this right now.
We got Montoya back. Is she going to be the question, or?
Who even knows? You know what I think has actually hurt this title the most, though? I think is that they're trying to recreate Gotham Central again, something that I love, that is near and dear to my heart, and you can't push the envelope the way that did, so just leave it alone. Let it be what it is. I
did get that as I was reading it. I was like, are they trying to be Gotham Central? But I guess you're going to get that vibe, because, I mean, all your main characters are, Gotham cops, but...
I don't know. Don't you feel like the characters have unclear motivations, though? I mean, I know it's early in the arc, but I really don't want this arc to go on too much longer, so it's like, get to the damn point already.
Yeah, and even just like when Gordon's talking to Bullock, outside his apartment, I don't know, this book more than any of the other ones, well, at least Batman, but this one more than Batman, it just seems like Gordon doesn't even seem like Gordon. I don't know.
It's
he just seems like
mustache, dude. He's like Tom Tucker from Family Guy. You can't get rid of the mustache, otherwise everything goes to hell in a handbasket.
I guess it just seems like he's trying to seem like an older, Batman or Bruce Wayne.
We should rename this. This whole section is like Crisis with DC's Trinity, because none of them are doing, none of the writers are doing any of the main three any kind of face. Honestly, like, I don't know, man. I don't know how much more I can take of this. Even when I wasn't reading DC Comics, I always had, Detective Comics on my pull list. Like, I'm gonna catch up eventually. And now it's just like,
I think it's just one of those stories where, like, maybe if you read the whole thing at once as like a trade or something, it might not be as bad. But when you get, just a piece at a time every month, it's I don't know. All right, I'm giving this one a 3. What do you think?
3 is being really generous, but I've been trying to be really positive and really nice to DC lately. Consider that I won't be reading any Marvel come October for probably a year or two. So. I will give it a 3, begrudgingly. So I know you read Batman Beyond, right?
Yeah, probably my pick of the week.
Me too.
That's what I figured.
It was good, but it was a standalone, and I was just like, we're only 2 issues in. Why the hell do we have a standalone?
Well, I think they were counting on the power of, look, we're introducing ink. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely was the highlight of the issue.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been better if it was Terry. Let's just be real. Like, this is not like last issue, the first issue, I didn't think that much about Terry. This issue, I'm like, man, just imagine the interaction if this was actually Terry.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't know. They need to stop with Tim every 2 seconds. Who's that? Just have Alfred in his ear saying, this is ink. This is one of Terry's deadliest villains. And they go, okay.
It's getting a little creepy already.
Hey, it's Brother Eye. It's always creepy.
I'm just like, we couldn't let that die with World's End, Future's End. When that died, no, we gotta carry that over. No.
That was their big ending.
That actually has more ramifications than Convergence, and that worries.
So what did you grade this?
I gave this initially a 5, just on a curve, because nothing else really jumped out at me. But if I'm being honest, I'll say a 4.
Yeah, it sounds about right, because that's what I was going to say is a 4.
This is a brutal week. DCU week 5, and I mean, on average, it's like a C-. If I was to like add everything up.
Well, I think it was around the same thing the first week of last month too. It was these same books, and we were like, But
yeah,
I mean,
but it should be getting better is the point.
Yeah, but we're back at the beginning of the rotation though, so I mean it's pretty bad when both our pick of the week we both give it a 4. So I mean, remember last week or the week before we were like, oh yeah, this is my pick of the week 5, and
like with no hesitation.
I know. I mean, you gave a book of 5.5.
Yeah, it was really good. Oh, but Justice League #2 did come out digital first. Of course, I read it, but we can wait till if you're gonna buy it next week. We can wait to talk about
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it.
I think you'll like it. Good progression.
Mm-hmm. You know what else I did get? The one other thing I did get was Flash Season 0 #10, the print copy. I actually enjoyed this one. I actually enjoyed it a little more than the previous issues because I guess it's more standalone, maybe. It was the one with Caitlin and the whole space thing, and then with Day in the Life with Barry where he had to keep running off and saving people.
Oh yeah, that's like so many issues ago, but I vaguely recall what you're talking about.
Yeah, Barry and
What would you give it as a grade?
I'd give it a 3.5.
Oh, it's an astronaut, right?
Yeah, it's Caitlin and the astronaut, and then the second part is Barry and Joe are going to sit down and watch The Godfather.
Yeah, that is a good.
Yeah, but it was more standalone-ish. It kind of reminded me of not as good as the original Arrow series, but I like the more,
Well, I think what I remember most about this, though, is that it's Phil Hester that is doing the artwork in this particular arc, and I love Phil Hester.
Yes.
Oh, my God, I love him so much.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, that was everything I got. Do you have anything else?
Nothing I care to talk about. Lobo sucked balls. I'm sorry. I don't know who's reading it. If you like it, that's good for you, but I could not. For the life of me, I just can't. Had it not been sent to me, I would have not read it. But I felt obligated because it was sent to me. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sorry. One more thing, though. Did you hear about Vixen? Because, I'm really excited for that.
No.
They found the voice. Yeah, they found the voice. Her name's Megan. Oh, I'm sorry for slaughtering this. It's like Ikawali or something like that. She was in the 4400, and she played Hyde's half-sister on that 70s show. And she also played Cassie in Supernatural in the worst episode of Supernatural ever. I'm excited for it because she's gonna show up in actually I think it's Arrow, an episode of Arrow. Like the actual actress, they're gonna do like the crossover thing.
Did they say when that animated's coming out?
It's coming out at the end of September. It's like 6 episodes, and it leads right into whenever the Flash and Arrow premiere. So 6 weeks before that, it'll be those episodes on the seed, and then boom. Flash starts and Arrow starts, and then I think it's like the 3rd episode of Arrow where she might actually show up. I forgot the information that I was reading. So yeah, Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin are gonna provide some voice work for the cartoon too. So it's gonna be it's like a really cool little limited run thing that I'm just really excited for.
Cool. All right. Is that it?
Yep.
All right. Well, you can get a hold of us on our Facebook page, World's Finest Podcast. You can email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. And on Twitter, I'm at nightwingpdp. And Lilith, where can everyone find you?
I'm just teasing you. You can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. You can find me on Tumblr. It's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And please be sure to check out my blog if you are a comic book geek or a pop culture junk. It doesn't matter. You're all welcome. littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com.
Well, join us again next week as we dive back into the DCU. And I'm sure there'll be a chapter of truth once again for us to digest.
You can't handle the truth!
I really can't.